Alright everybody, it's Clow here, and I've got an amazing video today. Let's jump right into it. Because I have so very much that I want to cover today, I'm going to be primarily focusing on two singles from Erykah Badu, the first being her cover of Drake's Hotline Bling. Her rendition is called Cellular Device. We're going to talk all about the very cleverly hidden things in that title, as well as much more. Of course, it's off of her mixtape, But You Can't Use My Phone. Again, something we've talked about in the past, and as always, I advise you to check out my previous videos if you are not familiar with my work, as well as just the quote research methods in general, so that you are able to understand as much of this as possible. If you come into these videos without any sort of background knowledge in this, it'll probably seem overwhelming. You'll get confused and think that I'm some sort of nut. But if you actually take the time to comprehend this information and set aside absolutes, set aside what you feel you know, and this information is going to resonate very heavily with you. Again, it's not an absolute, it's my interpretation of all of these events. But at this point, with a lot of the dates that I've actually successfully flagged out, you do really have to wonder, okay? And so I'm going to talk a whole lot about that, expand on it much more. But the other piece I want to talk about today, the other big centerpiece, is going to be Erykah Badu's recently released music video. As you see, this past Friday, June 24th, So Long, Maisha, alright? And so it's going to be my favorite part of the video when we get to that, because that stuff I think is exceptionally phenomenal. But I do want to lay some background for you. Of course, look at that June 24th, that 2 and 4 is 6 with the 6 month there, that nice double 6, which I do believe comes up in every single video that we do here. So immensely important to track and to just be mindful of. And I'm going to talk about these tweets and more on her website later on here today. But do remember that June 24th, that's when we got the announcement, final figures here for the UK to withdraw from the European Union, and so you know I'm going to talk about that, as well as David Cameron resigning that same day. Again, look at the date and the time up there that I have this screenshotted at, very interesting with the time. But with Cameron standing in front of door number 10 there, alright, the fortune card, the revolving wheel card, alright, again, look into this while you're watching this right now so you can get a better idea of what this has to do with everything, alright. You have the Sphinx, you have Typhoon, all of this stuff, alright, so be sure to look into it, because I really want to move through this today. And again, just to point it out, I did flag the date 6/24 a little over a month ago, whenever the first Erykah Badu video came out, because notice how I was talking about it coinciding with the Homerland episode. It's also the same day that the new Independence Day movie came out. And you can see all of these connections here, very, very deeply interwoven, to say the least. But 6/24 being 999 days since that episode aired, or one of the days, or excuse me, one of the ways of counting those days. All right, and so again, that, as well as the 14th of May, the 11th of June, other dates that I pointed out, and we've seen huge things happen on those days. Very important things, to say the least. You do have to wonder with what's coming up here. 7/29, 10/2 being others that I'm looking at, but we'll reiterate them as we go here. So now again, keep up, because I'm really going to move on this one to be sure that I can keep all of this information in this one video. I'm actually going to have to do a whole separate one, because I also want to do a big long thing about the presidential elections this year. They're the 58th annual elections that we're having in the States, and it's also the 58th anniversary of NASA this year, so there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about with that. But I'm going to preface it all today with this video, and so let's finally get into talking about this. So October 2nd, again, remember, this year is going to be the date that Beyonce's Formation World Tour comes to an end at the Nissan Stadium. We're going to talk about all of that more, just a little bit of preface there. So notice this article that we're starting with from Time Magazine. This was October 2nd, 2015. And so I just want you to see here how many big institutions put out articles on October 2nd for this remix of all, and it's not even, it was a mixtape, it's a remix. Everybody, you've got Spin, Slate, MTV, like I've got the Time thing pulled up, Wired, Pitchfork did something, and it's going to be another one of the big articles that I look at here in a minute here. But so take a look at this here again. The left eye covered just so conveniently with the hair there, right, the right eye to the viewer, the left eye of hers. So take a look at this picture here, just to just to get it in here. Is from September 11th of that year, that 9/11 at 99, and so again, just all over the place since this article is talking about this mixtape. Do notice that it was released November 27th. That's the 11th month. 2 and 7 is 9. There you have it again. It's all over the place. We'll talk more about that stuff just a little later on here. But pop back to this coding here, because I want you to see for the number 275, right, October 7th, or excuse me, 2nd, 2015. I do want you to see it is the same as both Lord of Love Under Will. Now this is the Two of Cups. I'll talk about that in just a moment, but it's also the same as Sing Little Bunny Foo Foo. Now I would love to show you an image from this celebrity death match, but I do not want this video to get pulled. But so do know that was the one between Beyonce and Missy Elliott that I was discussing, and again, where Beyonce has the mind control device in her head, and that is one of the requests that Missy Elliott makes of her. But so take a look at this down here for this coding, the final hay of Tetragrammaton. That's huge. You also see 666. I accept the mark of Antichrist and an alphanumeric encryption. All right, and so of course you see quite a few other disturbing things coded in there, as well as a special reference up top here to Twitter. Apocalypse chapter 13. I'm going to talk about chapter 13 verse 5 a little later on here, so keep that in mind. You also see 911 Revelation. Okay, so all of this stuff very troubling here, and so notice 90 days remaining. And just to tie it back in, is the simple value for Homerland. Do go back and watch that video. I don't know why so many people skip over the Simpsons ones, but they are really some of the more revealing videos that I do. So now with that, and with that initial 90, let's look at this here now, because October 2nd this year, as I said, it's the final day of Beyonce's big tour. And so this year, since it's a leap year, it's going to be the 276th day, all right? And so let's do a little prefacing with that here. And so I just want to pull it down so you can see one with more examples. Do notice it is the simple value for the secret of 36, all right? And so for those of you not very familiar with all of my work, do remember I first started talking about this 36 when I was looking into these compasses for the Grandmasters of the Masonic Lodge, and you see here the compass for current Grandmasters is set to 36, while those for past Grandmasters is 29. So right, for the current one, the 36, remember the 36 triangular number is 666, all right, and all of the stuff we talked about with the Truman Show, he lives in number 36. All right, all the different ways you could read that. You see this nice shadow cross over here, the 3 X's, the 24th letter, 2 and 4, so another 666, the 66 over here. It's backwards and forwards with this stuff, all right? So now, with that and with this 90 here, I want to pull it up and emphasize it just a little bit more extensively because I want to integrate the Book of Lies into this research a bit, because I mean it's a very important book that Crowley put forward, and again, in studying this stuff you have to familiarize yourself with these various texts, all right? And so chapter 90 is entitled Starlight, okay, and you see here him talking about this fulfillment, having gotten the love not only of Layla, but also found that all love is vanity except for that of Babylon, except for that of lust, right, except for that of embracing whatever it is that one wants, so long as it is out of this concept of love, which, believe it or not, is not what you and I have been conditioned to believe it to be all this time, all right? And so very importantly, for those of you not familiar with the Book of Lies, Layla is referred to all throughout very cryptically. Somewhere in the early 20 or mid 20 chapters, I believe, is when she's introduced, and Layla being an acronym for Love Always Yieldeth, love always hardeneth, and a tremendous amount I could talk about with that, but that would warrant its own other video, and especially considering the fact that chapter 77 is especially for her. So we're shown an image of her, all of these other things, and so very important, of course, here keeping in mind that Our Lady knew it refers to the universe, that which is beyond what we're able to physically experience here. But again, why I pull this up for you is because you do have this reference upon rising from the throne and calling upon the end. And so why this is so stunningly fascinating to me is because when we pull this up here, do remember for 684, you see here the coding for, let me get it all pulled up here for you, I don't know why we're looping over. So 684 is the same English value for zesties, alright? And so do remember that this goes back to the Lisa the Iconoclast stuff that I have recently put forward with the whole Pez theory. But again, when she's down here, and this is a hail to the man who shot Liberty Valance in a lot of ways as well. But so you see zesties pages there, again something I looked into in those Pez theory videos. But again, now in the recent ones, the new intro for the show, you have Ralph and the ice cream right to the right eye there. This crucified, martyred sort of position he takes on, and zesties being that consistent theme through there, right? So again, go back and watch that video. You can see on the right there a lot of the interesting stuff here. But so now take a look, because a lot of this is going to come up again here soon. So you see the tower, Friends Arena again. These are all things referring to Beyonce's tour. But notice here you have Holocaust, New World, World War, as well as Keystone, the number 19th, or excuse me, 19th, the number 19, the letter S, alright, very, very important, the Path of Resh, the Sun card, all of those things, as well as secret areas, alright, and so remember that's in reference to Zesties, this pizza parlor, alright, so again, go back, watch that video. The Pez theory is amazing. Even looking here, 44, Pez, the kill number, the original Pez logo had 44 pieces of the candy in it. See the direct link there to Rosicrucian, cult members, the great old ones, so on and so forth. Alright, exceptionally important set of videos there. But now with all of that though, let's get back over here though. So this is page 190 in the Book of Lies. As you can see, I could go on and on and on, but do notice here that it is the same as not only instant Nescafe coffee. Remember, this is what played right after we found out that Kennedy was assassinated. We got that nice commercial there, but I do want you to see, and I'm going to pull it up for you down here, this Earth 616, how it comes up in connection with that 190 there, because remember, there's the one, or I guess the world that the ice cream character that I talked about, X-Men character, is the one world that he appeared in one episode. And so again, read through all of this here, go back and watch those videos because they are very fascinating. But you do see for ice cream there being the same as Sasha Fierce, Queen Bey, Mike Will, all of these things, also the same Jewish value as groupthink. Very important, remember that's what spills out of Badu's head when she's assassinated in the window seat music video. Alright, so we'll touch on that again later, but do see here for this 190 down below, same as Formula of Inri, R-Clow 55, so on. But notice as well, Aleister Crowley, the Four Horsemen, Rosicrucian Order, Honor the Truth, okay? All of these phenomenally important things, and you also get the number 133, which, as we'll talk about in just a minute here, is the same simple value as 7 Benjamin. This is Badu and Andre 3000's son, who helped her write the remix for Hotline Bling. Okay, so notice down there, this is a Hogue's Book of the Law, Solving Coagula, all of these just keystone concepts. Alright, so now with that being out of the way here, let's start looking at Megan McCluskey. And so if I can jump back here for you, let's take a look. Alright, so this is the author of the article. Of course, this MM is the 13th letter. I could look at it as 1313, but for now I'm going to reduce it and look at it as 44. It's an immensely important magic number, kill number, all of those things. Notice her Jewish value, 6 feet under, as well as spirit of Antichrist and fascist ideology. Now it's really, really interesting when you look at the English and simples and you see they're the same as 9 Years' War. Again, thinking back to, this is from Brave New World, and essentially after that we have the Ford leadership put into place, and fascist ideology is absolutely one of the pieces that guides this society. Even though people are allegedly allowed to do as they please and are controlled by pleasure, there are still many, many things repressed. Again, cannot overstate the relevance of that book, especially with the current talks of DNA manipulation and modification. The book literally starts in the lab, all right, discussing that. And so really don't want to hear anything about how that book is not absolutely crucial and critical, all right? So take a look here. Bradbury and Evans, that's Charles Dickens, publisher, very important, his 777 coding. I'll talk about that more later. Talked about it in the past. Notice as well that ALZ21 CCO is the same as there he is, dude's name, who said he was going to bring the stage down on Beyonce there. All right, all that stuff we've talked about in the past. It's also the same as 3F13, which happens to be the production code for Lisa the Iconoclast. All right, so stunning, stunning stuff. Now look here. 36, Truman Show, all right? Again, everything I was just talking about moments ago with that number and its absolute crucial nature, okay? You see again the Path of Teth. This is the Lust card. You also have the All-Seeing Eye, All Shall Perish, Veiled Allegory, and Masonic Imagery. Now take a look down here for she's also releasing a mixtape. Again, we're just staying right in tune, excuse me here, with this first article here. It's going line by line, and so she's also releasing a mixtape. You have this 111 and 7, which we can multiply and get that nice 777 in there, all right? And so again, since I was just talking about it, I guess we'll pull Charles Dickens up for you here, because I just do want you to see, again, both of his names are 7 letters. The C and D equals 7, so we have a nice 777 coming from him there. You can see all of these codings here with that reference to Order of Thelema, so on and so forth. I'm going to be talking in just a moment here about a building that is 777 feet tall, due to be completed here very soon. What will be the largest building in Manhattan, at least the Flatiron District, and so give me a second, we're going to get there. This stuff is just absolutely crazy. But take a look for this Jewish value, the 33rd degree, all right, the highest level of not only Freemasonry, but the Brotherhood of Saturn. So just a crucial number, okay? You see the Great Deceiver, military complex, bioweapon, and the number 1080, okay? And so I do think that actually comes up later here, so it's in creative control, and this is what flashes at the end of Badu's So Long music video, and so we'll talk about all of that. It's also, you notice here, the same as Atlantis Cable News, CBS News Bulletin, and Erykah Badu and Prince. Do you remember she performed the Ballad of Dorothy Parker at the Webby Awards here recently, and so take a look at the Ballad of Dorothy Parker there. You see the 13th tarot card popping up, as well as 2-1, that's the universe. You also see the key to alchemy, all right? So now again, down below here, this Anthropophagist United, that is the United Club of Cannibals, essentially here, all right? Very important stuff. And so also absolutely worth noting, it's the same song she performed apparently at the 16th annual BET Awards here, okay? And so you can see all of that. Again, all of this Nissan stuff here, just like the Nissan Stadium that Beyonce will be concluding the tour on, right, on October 2nd. And so we'll talk more about that in a little bit, okay? But so now let's jump back up here. So we were at this 1117. So pulling this back up for you here. Now let's get back into it. You see the English and simples are the same as starring Roberto Glasper, all right? And so again, that is absolutely how she references him on here. This is actually in the video, and again, we'll look at it when we get to it. I don't want to get too sidetracked. But so noticed here, add 13 to 31. When you do so, it's the number 44. Imagine that. You see must be killed in this manner in psychological operations, all critical, okay? So now you look at the word mixtape, okay? And what is that? Same as Beyonce and Control Freak, all right? Control Freak is Erykah Badu's record label, okay? Look at this. Death of Us All, Dark Ritual, Demon of Darkness, Shot in the Dark, One Eye. I mean, what? With the September 11th below it here on all this stuff, y'all are crazy if you're still pushing to dismiss this stuff, all right? You see here, all things are a lie, as well as a reference to Turtle. Do you remember in her movie coming out the 29th of next month, she plays a character called Tortoise. Has the same coding as Antichrist, Blood Sacrifice, Top Secret, right? Don Trump, all these things. Ton of other stuff from that trailer. It's also the same as Erica Wright. All right, that's Erykah Badu's actual name, EW55. We're going to talk about another variant on it later that we've seen popping up here, okay? Look at this for mixtape still. Infernal Propaganda, She Raises the Dead, and Satanic Practice. All right, keep moving. English and simples are same as Athenium, as well as the Brothers. Remember, that is the true name for the Lover's card, or one of them, as well as Cromulent. All right, so Cromulent and Athenium being direct references to Lisa the Iconoclast, as well as, again, the man who shot Liberty Valance. And I'm going to do a whole other video following up on that because it is much, much more important than what I've given time to it so far on. So now, with that, though, do see here the New Age, Fire Snake, as well as Trump, Exodus, right? All of these things. So now let's keep moving here. Seven Benjamin. Okay, it's the name of her son, and so it's her and Andre 3000's kid here. You can see clearly written out in this Time article. Now, jump back here. Do notice here we get this July 19th. Now, remember, earlier in Zesties, we had the number 19th. They're written out like that, right? So keep that in mind. We're going to come back to it in just a second again. But do see here, again, they killed him and burned his body. Atrocious acts of evil. Holy Wrath, Babylon, fertility cult. Remember, fertility of the earth. That would be taking away the humans, which, right, detract from the fertility of the earth with pollution, with all of these things. And so very interesting way in looking at that, these ideas of balance. Again, his English and simple values down below, they're the same as his mom's full name written out. It's also the same as window seats when she's assassinated in Dealey Plaza, as well as Warner Brothers and Sandra Bullock, right? All the stuff I did on Gravity. So look, this is a hoax. Government, Book of the Law, Solve Coagula, all of that. Again, you see evolution, as well as nuclear accident, all the stuff with evolution constantly coming up, and especially in relation to this video. Do remember her back tattoo, evolving, groupthink, both words, 5 letters, GT72, all the stuff we talked about with that. Again, go back and watch those videos. They are just amazing with the scope they give you. So now let's break this down a few other ways really quick here, since it's so important to them, this remix, this song, what it all means. So notice that the phrase Erykah Badu Hotline Bling Remix, it's the same English and simple values as but you can't use my phone. So now that's crazy. And so notice the English and simple values at the bottom, age of Aquarius, as well as extinction of all life on earth. Freemasons are the Illuminati, the figure of the executioner, and she is the opposite of a saint. Wow. So now up top for that, you have the opening, right? What it says at the doorway of hell. From Dante's Inferno, abandon hope, all ye who enter here. Again, this Jesus 444, it's 444 number. I really can't overstate it. Watch my other videos. But look at this. Obama got violently murdered. I am foul. I will kill and torture. As well as the Freemasons are possessed by Saturn. Okay, so there's a lot of really heavy-hitting stuff coded in there. Take a look at this over here. You see Hotline Bling Remix. It's the same Jewish value as Quiet Storm, so let's pop that up here for you as well. So I've got Jewish value, so alright, let's flip through for just a second here. So there's that for you. That 734, you see Barack Obama the Antichrist, as well as planned nuclear attack, the key of it all, Yod and Nun, which is a reference to the path of life, giving of life, and the path of death. Remember, that's what Nun is. Also very interesting, right, that is people who, the women in the Catholic Church are modeled after this nun path, which is the path of death. You also see here CIA tyrant and America is in trouble. So again, look at all these codings. This will come up again later. This formula of Henry stuff, Bring Me Home Live, United States, Ultraviolence, Four Horsemen. All right, and the number 64 written out as well as just outright appearing there. So do notice as well the English and simple values for Hotline Bling are the same as 5% nation. Okay, so let's pull that up for you here so you can see what that all looks like. You have reference to front organizations, vibrational energies, weather changes, and love is the reason. All right, very disturbing stuff. And so now let's keep going here though, because let's see, we talked about this earlier, but notice for remix here, okay, just crucial because Time Magazine's writing about a fucking remix. I want to pull up that number 424 for you because you'll see it a few times pop up today, but do notice that it is the length for the Chili Peppers' most famous song, Under the Bridge, right? UTB is 322, that Master Skull and Bones number there, okay? But so take a look at all of this. For the Under the Bridge coding, you do have reference to 16, which I do have flagged as a year there. And remember, even if we were to think of it now in context with this 16th BET Awards and these connections to Nissan, and I'm going to draw those lines even thicker for you as we go, but check it out. You see planned disaster as well as the phrase to see accomplishment. You can see that down below here, but staying on this English and simple for a second, you see the killing name as well as sea mark of beast, Satan and Moloch, the devil slash Satan, and evil nations. All right, so taking a look down here for accomplishment, if you're so inclined, you see again, love is the law, Rosy Cross, just these absolutely paramount concepts for occult study, practice, worship, whatever you want to call it, all right? All very important, all very critical. So do notice here as well that we have for remix, the English and simples are the same as both Beyonce and Lemonade, all right? So Lemonade, as I discussed, it can be an anagram for a demon, L or L-A demon, right? A lot of ways to look at that, very interesting. But for this 41469, do see that you get false flag as well as the law, one eye, message, and look at this www. I have flagged here because that is 555, and I just think it's so weird because here's what you have on Badu's website, right? And www is 555. It's the link, the height of the Washington Monument, and a absolutely critical number that I've been looking at for a long time. And so it's very interesting when you see those things popping up like that, right? And so the fact that it's also the same as Beyonce, just absolutely wild. Okay, so we talked about this 275 stuff earlier in the video, and so take a look at this here, because we're going to drill some more on this 444 number. So what's nutty to me is it's 254 days before 6/11/16, all right? And so that was the day that she played with Ricky Smiley at the theater, as well as, I mean, technically that night on my end on the West Coast, it's when I heard about the Pulse nightclub shooting. It's also the day that Christina Grimmie died and a whole bunch of other things. But so take a look here, because I was talking about this span of 254 days, or 8 months and 10 days, when I was talking about Donald Trump on January 23rd this year, saying he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and not lose votes for it, all right? And so remember, January 23rd, 1, 2, 3, if we invert and add it to itself, we get 444, okay? Absolutely important there. But before we look at that, notice here that this span from when he said that to Beyonce's conclusion date, October 2nd this year, is that same span, 254, 8 months, 10 days. And so that 810, just absolutely critical, because you see it is the same as Ralph Wiggum, as well as I Slay Remix and East 83, again from that Land trailer coming out on the 29th here. But I extensively looked at that for you and told you why it was important to break down in all of the different ways that I did. But you see terrorism, Thelemic order, as well as Black in the Sun, God of Baphomet, reference to Wall Street and stock exchange. Undoubtedly things that people are very focused on right now because of the whole UK exiting from what you have there, the European Union. Okay, so notice for July here coming up, the full moon that month is the full buck moon. I do want you to see there that you do get those, each word is 4 letters, the 444. You do get reference to a triple number in the coding there. True proof, Babylonian king down below, order of Thelema. You see it's the same as 777. We'll talk more about in a minute here, but just on and on and on. All right, just absolutely stunning stuff. And so again, now popping back over here, let's take this one step further, and you see from when this Time article and all these other articles on Hotline Bling were released to the 8th of November this year. That's the U.S. presidential elections. It's 404 days. Now, I'm going to talk about this in the other video that I do, talking much more extensively about the significance of this being the 58th presidential election in the same year that it's the 58th anniversary of NASA, and what that all has to do. I'm going to talk about the 10 of discs, all of these things. It's too much to fit into this video, but know that I've got it in the works there, and you can get a sneak peek on the side over here for all of that stuff over there. Again, if you use it, give me a shout. All right, I cover so much, and it's so useful, and it would be so beneficial for more people to hear it. Now look here, because another way of reading this out is 1 year, 1 month, and 7 days. It's at 117, comes down to 77. Link it back to all the Layla stuff, the Starlight stuff, and you've really got something going on, okay? If you want me to take it one step further for you here, do remember that when we were looking into 77 here, you have written out 121, a number I've shown you again and again and again here. So everything from Christina Grimmie, there it is for Antichrist, but I want to pull one for you down here. Same as Erica Wright, as Live the Hype, same as Tortoise, okay, all the ones I was showing you from earlier. I just want you to see all of these incredibly crucial 121s and how they just keep coming up and up and up. All right, so very, very important stuff there. All right, so now let me get back here. And yeah, so let's take a look at the cover for Hotline Bling. If I've got it for you here. So here's this, and you can see again, staying on this October 2nd. Yeah, I'm really going to hammer them on it. Best new track, so says Pitchfork Media on that date, and so here's a larger version of it for you here. I really want to break this down for you. So these next couple of bits, they're all going to be pertaining to these numbers. So notice this number 214, right? Obviously, you see it as repeating just over and over. So this is one of the 3 area codes for Dallas, Texas. Now, what I want to draw your attention to is if we have this number 214 10 times in each of these rows back here. So let me jump back here right before we get ahead of ourselves and pull up the number 214 for you, so that you can see. Oh geez, is it really going to be like that? Thank you. So the simple value for I've got hot sauce in my bag is 214, right? The number that's over and over again on this, right? And everything that I've shown you. You see conspiracy theory, Barack Obama financial crisis, Lord of the Gates of Death, the Large Hadron Collider, I'll see you in July. The month of I've just been talking about over and over again, all right? You see occult conspiracy up top, bringer of the age of Aquarius, so on and so forth, all right? So feel free to look into the 469 and 972. Those are the other area codes for Dallas. I want to show you if you reduce all 3 of those, you get the number 719, which is the same as 53. And again, looking into it because we had it appearing here in the land video, the trailer here. It shouldn't be inverted there, but it is. It's talking about the significance of that very extensively in the video. Do remember though Ketis 53 when he's hospitalized here recently, all the connections I showed you there. May 14th was absolutely a day that I pointed out and said we'd see some shit going on. You had him being taken to the ER room, as well as the Washington Monument, again the 555 foot tall monument obelisk, being shut down due to elevator issues. Okay, you cannot push this shit aside anymore. Okay, look, Illuminatus, satanic rulers, the scythe, as well as rose behind the cross. Okay, all of this just absolutely critical. Now let's keep moving here though, because if you take that number 214, you mirror it and add it to itself, you get 828. And so this is absolutely critical because that is the 66th piece of the Pez theory. All right, look at the English and simple values. It spans just about everything that I've been covering with you throughout these videos. Donald Trump, Beyonce Lemonade, Sade Bring Me Home, Cat Williams, The Brothers, Real Cup of Coffee, all of it's there. You see Master Mason, Behind the 11, Number 7, Great Architect. All right, it's part of why I look at all of these different buildings and show you the dates and heights and all of those things, because this is symbols of these people. So obviously these various monuments that they fund and build are going to be important to look at. And you just see all of that there. Again, that simple value being 138, and We Are 138 being the lead song from the Misfits Bullet EP, where Kennedy is being assassinated on the cover, who shows up in the Jewish coding for these numbers. I mean, it's just overwhelming, you guys. It's just truly overwhelming. Now look here. Each row is the number 214 displayed 10 times. So if we take that, times it by 10, get the number 2,140. And it's interesting to me because then you get the phrase for 42 months. Now take a look over here, because earlier we were talking about, we'd come back to Revelation 13 verse 5, and look at this. The beast was given a mouth to speak arrogant and blasphemous words, and authority to act for 42 months. Now 135 is a number I cannot get away from in all of this coding and stuff I've shown you, even to the fact that inverted, it's the episode Homerland, and when you add 531 to 135, it's 666. I highly advise you to go check out one of the older videos where I've got the cheat sheet pulled up for you, and you can see all of the other 135s and the immense significance packed into that number. Okay, but so now let's keep moving here. Again, you see this pizza coming up, 77 from those two P's, 55 from the number of letters. We can look at it in all sorts of ways here, but again, keep moving. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, as well as the Whisperer of Evil. So now there are a total of 15 lines here. And if we take 2140 times 15, you get the number 321,000. Okay, so now if we drop those triple zeros there off the end, which are absolutely critical, we get the number 321, which again we can mirror as 1, 2, 3. There's our 444 again, and all the Order of Thelema stuff. But look at the 321, because you do have Keeper of Fire, Deal the Cards, and Knight of Pan. Again, thinking back to this is 15 lines, and so that is absolutely the Devil Tarot card, which is said to be a representation of Pan as the goat form. And so then when you have this Knight of Pan, you start to think about, you know, pizzas. They're prepared on a pan, over a fire, in an oven. You see how it all starts to fit together. They're speaking metaphorically, is something that you have to understand here. All right, so look down below though for these English and simple values, same as Yahweh, Thelema, Zion, American, the Chief, and Encoder. All of these very, very important things. All right, but take a look at this. If we divide 321,000 by 214, we get 150. Now this is the same simple value for inauguration, electoral college, Miley Cyrus, and 45 East 22nd Street. Now I'm going to talk more about these middle two in the next video. Inauguration is from Pez theory, but let's pull aside 45 East 22nd Street very quickly here, because all this stuff with these 777s coming up, so on and so forth. I want you to see this is absolutely the height listed for this, and again you can see on its wiki page it's cited as having 64 floors again. Okay, right there. And so let's jump back here. Let me show you from their actual website. They're celebrating of the topping off ceremony on June 1st. Now, I know what you're thinking, and you're right. That was absolutely the same day that the Gothard Base Tunnel had that exceptionally bizarre opening day ceremony, okay, and all of the things that people fleshed out looking at this ritual performance, its initiation, whatever you want to view that as. But again, we did some stuff looking at the Twitter, the numbers. Obviously, that 1144 is massively important, especially just in connection to this picture, what you interpret as happening in this scene, okay? But so, no coincidence there. Remember, I was also discussing that it would be 44 days from this opening ceremony in Switzerland to when Beyonce would be performing there at the Lutzengrün, and so a lot to be said there as well. But again, the phrase "we made it to the top," topping off, again, it's an innuendo. But take a look here for these codings, right? You see 45 east, or so excuse me, you see up top 10 rulers, right? And so it's important to me, obviously, thinking back to Cameron at the beginning here with this 10 behind him, the fortune card, what that has to do, especially with the Sphinx being one of the characters on there. But take a look for this coding here. Not only does it say also share this value as cholera morbus, which I forgot to mention up top. It's the stated death for President Zachary Taylor, who was exhumed in the centerpiece that the Lisa the Iconoclast Simpsons episode kind of modeled itself after here. But take a look here. You see understanding liber al vel legis, all right? And so that is the Latin spelling for the book of the law. Very important. I'll read from that in the next video because I've got a great connection for you. But look at this as well. Forehead to be sealed. There's that 555. You also get allusion to the number 396, which again, I can't overstate enough. You even see it coming if you take that. We were talking about 135. If you take 531, its inversion, and subtract that from it, you do get 396 as well. But I do want you to see that's the coding for there is the dove and there is the serpent, okay? This is the difference between love and love, all right? Again, now we're getting into really heavy-hitting stuff, really deep stuff here from these occultic books. But look here for that value. The 33rd degree of Freemasonry, another government false flag operation, desires to dominate and control others as well as worship or reverence of Satan as a deity. All right, you can see up top here, look at this, 74 times 9 equals the 666. People die from MK Ultra, mind control, and ritual abuse. Again, something that is a lot of people trying to speak out against, but so much of this is taking place at such high levels of authority that it is all shut down through the courts. And so very important stuff here. Let's keep moving though. You see U.S. President, the word abrahadabra. Remember that is for the completion of the great work. I showed you that is also coded with ice cream and rose, two things we've talked about a lot here. Even just thinking about ice cream, IC93, 3 and 5 letter words, okay? It's so fucking obvious if you take a second to think. Now look, biotechnology, Hairbringer of Doom, Spirit of Death, you have the Wrath of God, 189 is the number coming up there, so we'll pull up 189 for you. I want you to see it's the same as Killing Me Softly. You see reference to the final curtain call, the Paths of Thoth, America's Nazi Secret, Terrorist Force. There's so many Nazi secrets you can't even keep track of them anymore. Little League Champs, each letter starts with something, a letter that reduces to 3, so you have triple threes. So they're all 6-letter words, 666. These people are sick. You have to be able to see this stuff backwards and forwards, all right? That 777 there. It comes up from everything from the It Could Happen to You poster. Again, this is from The Truman Show. All right, with people controlling Truman from the moon. Jump back here. I want you to see this poster because it's just so important here. The lightning striking the plane, all of that just being so critical. But again, all of this stuff coming up. Volcano Entertainment, 411 Elm Street, Illuminati Project, Golden Dawn, Hermetic Order, over and over and over. Even if you take out the 70 and you write it as 777, still got it popping up in a number of places here, as well as the 777. Do you remember the whole 777 bit is what popped up on the cover of Crowley's Gematria book. It's a very dry read, but it's allegedly pieces that he stole from the Hermetic Order and then published. So then again, do look at all this because we did have reference to Bradbury and Evans, Dickens publisher. You can see the C and D is 7. Both his names are 7 letters. That nice 777 there. You can even see how this all just starts reverting back here because the Jewish value, we can multiply and get the 444. Down below, English value, right, order of Thelema from the 870 and 145, all of that stuff. But so, again, with the 444, the order of Thelema in mind, do remember that the Jewish value for 444 is order of Thelema. And so, again, I cannot overstate the importance of that number, the 777, all of it, all right? So let's keep moving here. For KPF, I want to just show you the initials. You can look into Con, Peterson, Fox. Obviously, the first name being Con says enough to me there. Con, Fox, even more because Fox reduces down to 666. But take a look here for KPF. It's the same simple value as Maisha and Beehive for Bayhive. But you do see here same coding as Amen, which is the word, as well as final, peak, and balanced. Again, down below here, this English and simple values, 198 is the number of such immense significance. As you can see here, it's come up quite a few times, directly connected with the ideas of the Brotherhood Seal, one who raises the dead, the United Nations, corrupt justice, end of the Antichrist, the second 9/11, and all things are revealed. If you invert that number, it's 891, the number of days between the Kennedy assassination and the founding of the Church of Satan. And again, down below here, you can see all of the things that come up for 891, including Brother of the Freemasons. So all of this stuff just very, very troubling. Of course, 33 being that highest level for the Masons, for the Brotherhood of Saturn. But let's take a look here for topping off ceremony. Looking at this here, you have the reference to delivering karma. Again, this is the adjustment card concept. This is absolutely what's embodied there. A huge thing is she's actually said to be the complement card to the Fool. Again, the Magician, if you're going from the Thoth deck, and that is the one who goes on to essentially conquer the universe and understand and become one. So now look here, reference to double 5. Hey-oh. The divine plan, as well as the path of the Zane. Again, that is the path of the lovers. And do see here the English and simples, same as Ransom, Rant, Stoddard. This is back to Liberty Valance. Jesus fucking Christ, that's Adele referring to Beyonce. You see Walter Leyland Cronkite, as well as this other bit from the Land trailer. Now take a look here, because again, you see impossible coincidences. True Holy Angel of Death, as well as the Divine Gene Archangel of Death. Alright, so letters as numerals, key to the apocalypse, Beast of Revelation, all of those things. So take a look here for we made it to the top. And you see sun worship, as well as the unseen word, religious government, and inverted pyramid. That would be the water sign, the Aquarius sign. Also see it's the same as the getaway, just anagram it a little bit, it's the gateway. But in any case, the former there being the title of the most recent Chili Peppers album. So take a look there. English and simple, same as the Tetragrammaton, as well as Do What Thou Wilt, the solar system, Spirit of Truth, I above the pyramid, and I am from the future. Now for topped out here, the status given back here on its wiki page. Do you notice it is the same as cellular device, spelled with the 2 L's there. It's also the same as Lauryn Hill and LaShawn Thomas. Again, LaShawn Thomas being the guy who tweeted about Sade, one of the animators for the Boondocks. But there's that 135 for you again. God. as well as the Rapture, Baphomet Devil, Hidden Message, Justice Be Done. Again, Justice was the original name for the 8th tarot card, the Adjustment card, which Crowley changed to Adjustment because he didn't feel that justice was a relevant term. He felt it to be subjective and arbitrary because it does not exist in nature. Okay, so again, though, you see all those things coded out there. And with the 2 L's there, that's how it appears only in the Rolling Stones article. We'll talk about how it's actually spelled when we get to it in just a minute here. So take a look. Adrian Gamble, both names, 6 letters. AG gives us an 8 when we add it. Gives us 66 times 8. That's 528. That's the same as mixtape. That's the new age. All of that stuff we talked about earlier. So look into all of this. Want to keep moving here. All of that was a pretty big side rail from the number 150, which remember is the same. Excuse me, which is the same simple value for 45 East 22nd Street is what we get when we divided 321,000 by 214. Again, from that Hotline Bling cover there. But so stunning stuff here. Let's keep moving though, because you see 150 can mirror one of 2 ways. It's 051 or 510. And so if we add it to 150, we'll either get 201 or 660 respectively there with how I've listed them out. So now 201, you do see it comes up in reference to ALZ 21 CCO. Again, Austin Zamora's name, the guy with the crane, Beyonce. But I want to skip over that, and I want to jump here to this 201 is actually the number day for July 19th of this year. And so keep in mind that in 7 Benjamin's coding, we saw the coding for 19th written out, or at least I thought it was in his coding there. I guess easy enough fix here to make sure that I stay on track with what I'm meaning to say. Alright, so that's from Zesties. Excuse me there. Even better. So with the Zesties, the 19th, all of the stuff that we find coded from that. But so take a look back here. It's just bizarre. Oh, so July 19th. I'm sorry. For 7 Benjamin, he actually has the date July 19th coded for you up here in the Jewish value. And then Zesties, which we were further crossing it with, had that 19th coding. So again, just reiterating that further. So that's very crucial though, that 201. Notice again, if we just inverted it 102 and we put our slash right there, that would be the inverted date for October 2nd. So very interesting to keep that in mind. Notice here all of the coding that it shares, the 660 here. It's a very critical number, so take a look at that. It's the same as Paris, France. It also comes up for Yaha Yame. This is the leader of the Gambia, who Badu was actually planning on playing a show for, but apparently decided against it. But so take a look here for all of the things that pop up for this: the New Aeon, Grim Reaper, I Love France, Martial Law, Accidental Death, 911, over and over. Okay, you see all of these things coming up here. And so if we pull it up for you so you can see it for Beyonce Lemonade, you see the Eye of Ra, Cauldron of Sacrifice, Blood-Filled Streets, American Beast. Okay, and remember, Beyonce Lemonade has that 828, which is the same as Pez Theory. And again, just looking right back up here, when we invert and add 214, 828, Pez Theory. All right, so wow, that should be stunning to you. Okay, it really should be. So now keep moving here. Some more stuff for 150 you might be interested in, same as HAARP, as well as a Palladian. You see the English value, FEMA, C, Pi, again, things referring to a great beast and God. And so now jump back here to the images. Let's see, for the Hotline Bling cover here for her remix. And you see 1-800 Hotline Badu. So let's get into that here. So take a look when you write it out. This is going to make sense in the next video, because 10:04 is the length of her song Green Eyes. I'll talk about that in the other one, but check it out. Hey Suet, 33rd Degree, as well as Great Deceiver, Freemasons of the Illuminati, Brotherhood of Saturn. You see Barack is Shiva. That Newsweek cover really saved us some guesswork on that. You also see Stirring Up Riots in the Last Days of America. So the English and simple values, the same as some pretty powerful stuff. Prince and the Revolution, Rediscover Communication. Again, this is all getting back to the Tool stuff, the Schism video. Even going back to that fucking album being released on the 135th day of the year. So Murderer from the Beginning, The Beasts of Destruction, The Bringer of the Age of Aquarius, so on, so forth. Okay, so now take a look for Hotline Badu. Again, another way we can break this down. You see Lucifer Seal, Serial Killers, and Pathological Liars. So now the English and simples there, here it is, at least one in every video. Same as Iconoclast, Formation, Save the Bees, TMZ Staff, Clara Rising. This is who wanted Zachary Taylor to be dug up. It's Chief Wiggum. This is who in The Simpsons dug up Jebediah Springfield in the mocking of the Zachary Taylor exhuming a body. So Mark of Beast, Book of the Dead, Forehead Sign, Image of Satan, on and on and on. You see that is an absolutely critical connection. So now let's take a look here for cellular device. Again, as I was stating, it is really just spelled with the one L. You could look it up on Spotify or any other place. I have it pulled up on the wiki page here because it gives me access to all sorts of interesting stuff I might want to talk to you about. So notice here, cellular device, 6 minutes, 28 seconds long. So let's start with that cellular device. Okay, so now each of those letters, C, U, and L, all reduced down to 3. So it's a very clever triple 3 there. And so notice though, if you take them at their full values, 3, 21, and 12, add them together, you get 36. Dun, 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 dun. So all very interesting. All right, again, 36 triangular number, 666, Truman, blah, blah. Look, Vision of Pan. What was I talking about? Voice of Satan. Evil Inclination, Apocalyptic Spirit, Illuminati Killed U.S. Americans. Check out the English and simple values. Same as Living Legend. This is in reference to, what's his name? David Blaine. Or not David Blaine, it just as well could be as the inversion of Trump. They talked about in the old channel, but David Copperfield, and again, Living Legends, LL. 33, Living Legend, both 6 letters, so 336699. Coding for Illuminati, The Truth, 44, The Architect, True Will, Hidden Master, Secret Chiefs, and Thumbs Up. It's a cult symbol for the phallus as well, something to keep in mind. So now, take a look here for cellular device. The other way that it is written out in some of the articles, including from Rolling Stone. It's the only reason I'm entertaining it. But you do see Form from Evil, Death of Humanity, Unholy Number in the United States, and 9/11 Sacrifice. All right, again, I already covered this bit down here. So let's keep going here. Worth noting that the word device shares all values with John Adams, J. Adams. And so now again, this is linking into the Earth space defense stuff that we were discussing just a little earlier here. So let's see, let's pop that up for you. This is the guy, United We Survive, Go Army. If you zoom in, check it out, it's J. Adams, but check it out here, all this, same English value as Antichrist, Erykah Wright, so on. You see the secret plan of AG10. Again, that's Parkwood Entertainments who released, Formation, Beyonce's big song there where she drowns at the end. You also see reference here to down below, Sex, Evil, Blood, Hoax, the double X, right? It's the Aeon card. It's also 666 if we look at it another way. You also see Crime, Ice Cube, right? IC, just like ice creams, that 9-3 for you there, all right? All of this exceptionally important, okay? So now jump back over here, and so notice here 628, the length of the song. You do get reference to double 13. If I pop in double 13 for you here, Notice it is the same as Camptown Ladies. You see 153, okay, which is the same coding as In the Right Eye. You also see Fish is a part of that coding, and Fish is equivalent to the Path of None, which is all a part of the Death card, alright? So all of that very deeply connected. You see Illuminati prevail. Remember, Camptown Ladies is what Chief Wiggum is making Jebediah's skull sing after they dig his body up. And you have the Reverend laughing, the Doctor laughing, the Mayor laughing, all of that shit. So now look here, back to the left side here for this 628, Right Eye Dead, as well as EU Coup d'etat. I know there's another T on the end of Coup d'etat, but I still threw it in there because this whole UK leaving bit and so on. But notice here, MK Ultra song, alright? That should be obvious enough since it's a song length, and MK Ultra is this right mind control bit, and it's alright. The Horned Lord of Death, as well as Actions Soaked in Blood and Scorpion Sting. Remember, another direct tie to the Death card. Okay, so take a look here at the simple values for 628, much longer. You see Illuminati handlers program different altars in mind fragmenting. All right, so something there's a lot of research on, is absolutely possible. So do not deceive yourself into thinking this kind of shit doesn't happen. You see concentration camps and martial laws coming to this country, as well as all the works which are done in the dark must come to light. So very troubling stuff there. Alright, so now let's take a look down here. I do want to show you that she coined the phrase trap and be for this EP here, so you can take a look at that there. Again, just all of the numbers that she has there, it's just, shit's goofy after a while because the connections are just so very thick. So now take a look at this here, because Trap and B we can look at as 202 or 22, that master builder number, but look at this, Kill Them All, Art Deco. This is another Lana Del Rey song I'm not going to go into today, but do notice as well Big Ben CIA accident, BB22, both of those words 3 letters, 33, so 55. Very, very interesting stuff. Down below, this English and simple value here, very important because there you have Rose, Abrahadabra, right? The completion of the great work. Ice Cream, Golden, Magician, Gotias is the book of demons. There are 72 demons in this book. Crowley died at 72, okay, on and on. So notice vaccine, and think back to everything I talked about in the Pez theory with the vaccines potentially being a mark of the beast. Again, something to cripple, slow you down. And just one of those things where, you know, we're also focused on the RFID chip, and not to say that it's not something to be worried about as a tracking device, but again, it's all about, again, you see Magician in this coding, so it's distracting you with something that seems so consuming and enthralling and important, while the most important thing is happening just beyond the curtain. So what I want you to see here for this Trap and B, because it's so interesting that the English and the Jewish values are just mirrors of each other, if we add those together, we get 686, and so the Jewish value for that is syphilis, and so this is the noted cause of death for Jebediah Springfield is syphilis, alright, and so that's absolutely why I pulled that up for you there. Let me see if I can get it for you. I guess just try to go for it like this. You've seen sometimes because it'll like to start me. There we go. So 14 as syphilis. Check it out there. So you can see all the connections that has, but just so very, very important here. NASA announcement. Beast inspiration, the 6 and 8, very important. But notice here as well, the simple value gives us the truth about the CERN, European Organization for Nuclear Research. Okay, so now all of that crucial. Check out Big Ben here, just a side note, since a CIA accident comes up for all of this here. It does come up coded the same as land, mem, and film. So again, mem, is the Hanged Man tarot card, which is very interesting because you do see hanged come up in this here. And also interesting because 65, if we're looking at this jive over here, they actually list that as the number of stories on this 777-foot tall building. And so it could be a very clever veil for bringing that building down just as soon as it's put up. Alright, so again, look at all the important things coded throughout there. Zach Witness, the producer for this album, alongside Erykah Badu. Do notice there July Rapture, as well as USA Volcanoes Erupting, and Ye Know the Month. Okay, so now down below, same as Intercourse, To Be Continued, Day of Reckoning, Alan Kupperberg, and Kearney and Jimbo. Do remember that To Be Continued is how the video, the remix for Windows Seat, ends, with Rick Ross and Badu having fired shots inside of a building at people. You don't get to see it. Alan Kupperberg was the artist for the ice cream character, the Earth 616 stuff from the beginning of the video, and Kearney and Jimbo are the ones who are decapitating Jebediah Springfield in the new intro for The Simpsons. Alright, so again, you see that 888, 94, the connections there, as well as I Am the Phoenix, the Demonic Elite, Sublime New Era, and the numbers 853. And so 853, I believe, come back here to the Brady Bunch. Again, right back to that Iconoclast episode, Fictional Reality, Hadron Collision Disaster, John F. Kennedy down below there, Death Penalty, Serial Killer, and The Great Beast. Again, you see it sharing those values with Charles Dickens and the Boondocks. Alright, and so since this is so long, no pun intended, as I get ready to go into that video, I'm going to cut it here, and I'm going to start the other one fresh so I can be sure to not be too long-winded on it. Alright, so thank you so much for watching. Be sure to watch this next video that I'm going to shoot here in just a moment. Alright, so thank you, and please, please be well.